I'm going to tell one of my most embarrassing stories this moment. As we journey together over years, you will hear many embarrassing moments of my life, some of which probably haven't even happened yet, but I will share at a later date. But there is one particular example of something that wasn't even that embarrassing from the outside, but for me is a great source of embarrassment. That is tragically a very useful story for me to tell here, and so I will not deprive you of it. There was a few years ago, almost 20 years ago, I began to get invitations to speak internationally. And that felt like a pretty big deal. I had been speaking at some youth events and I was speaking around Dublin and around Ireland and stuff like that. But I got a couple invitations to leave the country, and they were even going to pay for my flights. I couldn't even dream at the time of being paid. It was just having my costs paid was the dream. But I was flown to a couple places to speak, and I was really beginning to think what a big deal I was. And so I was invited to speak in the Netherlands at a youth camp. And the night before, I was up all night trying to solve a problem for my dad. I don't know if you've ever... we're all in different levels of a generational divide. Some of us are the ones asking for our kids for help with technology, and some of us are the kids helping our parents with technology. I was up all night trying to help my dad solve a particular technological problem. I went straight to the airport, didn't have any sleep. I slept on the flight. I arrived in the Netherlands and found out it was actually a 3-hour drive from the airport. I was like, oh, jeepers, okay, it just keeps going. And I'm driven across the Netherlands, and we get to the place where the youth camp is, and I get out of the car and I go in, and there's no one there to take my bags, which is weird. I'm kidding, just for the record. But I walk in and somebody asks me, is there anything we can get you? Would you like a cup of coffee? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm exhausted. Cup of coffee would be great. And she said, no worries, there's a coffee machine in the corner, help yourself. Now, I didn't say this out loud, but I'm going to confess, I did think it. What I thought was, make my own coffee. Do you know who I am? It didn't even escape my lips. Nobody has to know this. But the reason I tell this story is because I don't have a lot of moments in my life where I felt like I heard God speak to me, but that was one. Because I felt this whisper within myself say, she knows exactly who you are. It's you who has forgotten. You're here to serve. You're not here, wherever it is that we find ourselves in life, to be served, to be heralded, to be worshipped, or to be held up on a pedestal. We're here to serve. That's what it means to know who we are, to be made in the image of the God who considers service something to be aspired to, and the role of servant a place in which to live.